Sounds happy.
Hello everybody, I'm Amber. Welcome to my channel. Today I am filming my 22-week pregnancy update. I'm currently 22 weeks and 5 days, so almost 23 weeks, and a lot has happened in the past couple of weeks. So maybe grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. I feel like this is gonna be a good one. There's a lot to share. Okay, so the two apps that I use are Flo and Ava, and I think it's so funny because Flo uses like the traditional like fruits and some vegetables to compare like what the size of the baby is, and then Ava, I feel like they tried to be a little bit different. So according to Flo, at 22 weeks, baby is the size of an ear of corn. And according to Ava, baby is the size of a sub sandwich. So that's where we're at 22 weeks. Ava says at this point, your baby is not quite ready for the outside world. Their lungs cannot yet transfer oxygen to their bloodstream, nor can they exhale carbon dioxide. Though they're getting closer to the point where they could survive a premature birth, their lungs need to develop further. If you were to see them, they'd appear wrinkly and their skin would be covered with a white cheese-like substance called the vernix. This slippery substance moisturizes and protects their skin from infection. As your due date nears, the vernix diminishes but does not disappear completely. Its presence will help reduce friction during birth. Your baby's muscles are continuing to get stronger and their ability to grip is now developing. They're moving around more and will continue to respond to sounds, including melodies and rhythms. The sounds that your baby hears now, including talking and singing, may soothe them as a newborn. Their eyes have formed and their vision is improving, but the irises lack pigment, so they don't yet have color. I have actually been trying, I feel so weird doing it, but I've been trying to like talk to the baby occasionally. I think partly what feels weird is that we don't know the gender, and so I'm just like, baby, hi. Like I feel like it would be a little bit easier if I knew if I was talking to like a boy or a girl, especially because we have the names picked out for each gender. So it would feel like a little bit more personal, but it feels kind of weird just talking to like an it at the moment, but I'm trying. So lots of symptoms to share. Some of these are actually from 21 weeks, but I don't want to exclude them, and I feel like they're close enough to 22 weeks that I can include them in this. So these first few are from last week, actually. So I noticed that my right hip in particular started hurting at night. Up until this point, I've been sleeping fine. I did mention in my 20-week pregnancy update that I bought a pregnancy pillow, but I hadn't had the need to use it for like 2 weeks. But last week, I noticed like in the middle of the night, I woke up and my right hip was just like throbbing. And so I turned over and immediately like put my leg up on Alex, and that definitely relieved it. But I don't want to rely on him every single night to like relieve any hip pain. So I did start sleeping with the pregnancy pillow. The problem with that thing is that it's like a whole third person in the bed. And so I'm actually kind of starting to see why some women get those pregnancy pillows that like go all the way around you on both sides, because that way you can just turn over to either side and you have that pillow that you can like put your leg up on. Whereas if you get like a sausage like pregnancy pillow like what I have, if you want to flip over, you have to like shimmy that thing over to the other side with you. And I don't know, it just, that wakes me up, it wakes Alex up. So I used it a couple nights and then I stopped using it. But then I remembered, and I showed you guys this in my 20-week pregnancy update, that the one that I got, it like fastens at the ends so you can like fold it in half. And it's funny because I was like, I don't know why anyone would need that, but that's actually what I've started doing. So I fasten it, so I fold it in half, and instead of using it like the full length of my body, I just kind of like shove it underneath the covers, like in between my legs. And I find that that actually works out great because I'm able to like put it in between my legs. And then if I decide to flip over, I don't need to move it to the other side. I kind of just like windmill my legs around it, and then I'll just put my legs like in the opposite direction if I switch sides. And I feel like that doesn't bother Alex as much either. He definitely is still kind of adjusting to having like this object in our bed, but it's only for a short period of time. We did get the results of the anatomy scan back. Everything came back normal, which was such a relief. I definitely didn't feel super worried because I felt like our ultrasound tech was like kind of trying to drop hints that everything looked fine, but it's just good to get that confirmation that everything is like developing the way it should be. And the ultrasound tech did not put the gender on the, I guess the report. So even my midwife has no idea what the gender is. So it'll be a surprise for all of us when baby is born. Another symptom is that I've been noticing that I get really sick, or I feel really sick, like sick to my stomach, if I don't eat kind of on a schedule. Like if I wait a little bit too long to have breakfast or lunch, for example, or if I don't have like snacks in between those, I feel so nauseous, or I actually have like thrown up a couple of times, and there's nothing really to throw up because I'm getting sick because I'm hungry. But I'm noticing that I really need to be like more strict about like eating breakfast, lunch, dinner kind of at like a specific time, and then like I said, also snacking in between. I also have been feeling a lot more exhausted, not throughout the day, just like at 8 o'clock at night ish. I feel pooped. Like I feel like I could go to bed right then and there. And I do stay up a little bit longer because my concern is that if I go to bed at 8 o'clock, then I'm gonna wake up at 5 o'clock and not know what to do with myself. But it is a struggle to stay awake from like 8 o'clock to 9 or 9:30. Like it's pretty hard, and I don't know what to do with myself because I don't like ending the day watching TV. But I feel way too tired to do like yoga, or I mean, honestly, even like to meditate or read. I feel like I'll just fall asleep. So that's been kind of weird, honestly. Like I have been just like sitting on the couch and just watching TV with Alex, but I would like to read instead. It's just hard. It's just hard because I'm like, I feel way too tired to be able to like focus on words on a page. I've also been getting really thirsty, and I know I'm trying to do this. I know that you're supposed to like just keep water around you at all times and just like sip it throughout the day, so I'm trying to do that. But when I feel thirsty, like I feel parched, like I haven't had water in hours, even though I have. That's just how it feels. And so then I just like get this cup of water and just chug it. And Alex actually told me the other day that I drink water like a puppy. I think it's because I make that like gulping sound as I'm drinking it, because I'm so thirsty that it's just like, I need to drink all of this right now. I've been feeling well enough to work out just about every other day. So that's been really great. And it's felt so good to start to get back into like, I don't know, just back into a little bit of a workout routine. Oh, hi baby. Hello. Every here and there, if I really just like don't feel well if I wake up and I just feel like super exhausted, then I'll just go ahead and skip a day. Like I'm not being like super strict with this routine, but for the most part, I've been working out every other day, just starting small and like, you know, building my way up to like 30, 40-minute workouts. And it's felt so good. Like I feel so accomplished after every single workout, especially knowing that I'm doing it carrying, you know, this extra weight and this extra life, because I definitely feel like I get drained a lot faster. One of the more uncomfortable symptoms that I've been noticing is this feeling of stretching in my belly. And it's usually like mid to the end of the day, probably because I get a little bit bloated as well. But it is so uncomfortable, and like I know it's only gonna get worse. But yeah, it's just like this feeling of like my skin just feels so taut. Like I just want to sit down and not move, because like getting up and walking, which I do anyway, of course, because I don't want to be like stationary for half the day. But when I get up and walk and move around, that's when like it's the most apparent that it's just like, oh yeah, this is definitely, I feel like if there was like a word that would describe the last week for me, it is just hungry. I am hungry all the time, like all of the time. It's insane. Like I'll eat, and I guess this kind of ties into me feeling sick if I don't eat. I'll eat, and like an hour to an hour and a half later, I feel starving. Not just like, oh, I could go for a snack right now. No, like I am so hungry. It feels like I didn't eat for like half of the day. And so I'm trying to have like snacks that are kind of more filling. It's kind of a struggle because I don't want to overeat, but at the same time, my body is growing another life. So I'm just kind of like, okay, if I feel hungry, then I need to eat. And I'm just trying to make sure that I have some healthy snacks around. But oh my gosh, the hunger it is something else. Another thing that I've been noticing, this is a body change, is that my breasts are starting to look bigger for sure. It's interesting because they haven't really been feeling very tender lately. Like mostly they were feeling tender on and off throughout the first trimester, but they didn't look any different to me. And I don't know, all of a sudden in the last like week or two, I was just like, oh, those look different. But the good thing is my bras still fit. I haven't needed to purchase a new bra. It just kind of is like before, my bras just fit like a normal bra, and now there's a little bit of push-up action going on. I really prefer not to wear bras. Like I actually prefer bralettes, and those of course have like a lot more give to them. So for the most part, that's what I wear. And so I'm really hoping that I can just like stick with those throughout pregnancy and postpartum so that I don't have to buy new bras. And especially because I know that bralettes would be suitable for nursing as well. So hopefully I can just stay with those. I guess like if there is one benefit about always having like a really small chest, maybe this is it, because for a long time, I didn't love that so much about myself. But as I've gotten older, I've started to see a lot of the benefits of having a tiny chest. This is a fun one. So a couple of nights ago, I had a dream about giving birth, and I dreamt that, so well, obviously I was in labor and then I gave birth. My midwife was there, Alex was there, and I remember in the dream, I told my midwife that labor and birth was not as bad as my period, because I have always had very painful periods, like debilitatingly painful. So I told my midwife that labor and birth was not as bad as my period. And I dreamt that we had a baby boy and we named him Elijah, which is interesting. Elijah is not our boy name, but that was the dream. So that was kind of cool. The last thing that I've been noticing during this week is that I am feeling a lot more movement from baby. And before, when I would feel movement, it was kind of just like a quick like boop, 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 and then that'd be it. And now I'm feeling it for like longer periods of time. Like I'll feel them kind of like tossing and turning around for like a minute or so. And then last night, it felt like an elbow just like dragging across my stomach. So that has been super cool. Occasionally, if I'm patient and I just like look at my belly, I'll see like little bumps here and there, but they're so tiny. I keep trying to capture it on camera and they're not big enough yet that you can really tell, or like I'll bust out the camera and then that'll be the moment baby just like stops moving. But that has been super fun. I love feeling the baby move. Like it's so cool. It's so cool. And like, I don't know, it's so special to feel your baby moving inside you. So, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a bump shot for you. This is what we look like with the overalls on. Oh, I'm using that hair tie trick for the first time. I've like refused to use it this entire pregnancy, but I absolutely need it if I want to wear these. This is what we look like at 22 weeks. I mean, I feel like every single week this bump gets like significantly bigger. Here's the front. I'm also noticing a little bit more like fuzz, like little hairs on my stomach. And here's the other side. I also love now that like I for sure look pregnant. I don't know. It's kind of nice like when you're out and people know that you're pregnant. Okay, that is everything that I have for you guys. If you enjoyed this, please give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to follow along on my pregnancy journey. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.